Small Bailey.
Yeah, I think just keep it there. Should be good.
Need a haircut.
Same too. Still getting all that gray though. It's hard.
Own it.
Just own it. Just own it.
It's
Own the
not
gray.
gonna change it.
It's not going to change now.
Yeah, just own it.
Welcome everybody. I think we're ready to go here. Hey, it's Mark Dahlman, Regional VP of Sales here for HPN Global and also Meeting Planner's Best Friend. I'm joined by my good friend, Bill Kilburg, the CEO of HPN Global. This is our second Facebook Live event that we're doing for meeting planners and hospitality partners all over the world. We want to thank you for joining us. Obviously, it's been another crazy week and a lot of changes, a lot of things have happened. And we've decided to kind of do these on a weekly basis when we can to give you some updates, give you some honest hotel advice, and answer questions as they come up from all of you. So thanks again for joining us. One of the things, obviously, and the reason that we're here, and the thing that we really want to go over is that we're truly here to help. With HPN Global, our process is relationship-based. We want to make sure that the planners are taken care of, the hoteliers are taken care of, and that we're getting fair deals across the board. But I think the thing we're finding out now is that a lot of people don't know what to do, right, Bill? It's crazy. So the one thing that we will go over today, I think that has been a great success, is we've talked to probably 3 or 4 groups just since our last Facebook Live call. And we told people to say, hey, if you've got a hotel contract and you're worried about it, go ahead and send it in to us. Let us take a look at it. Let us review the clause. Let us get with our hotel partners and let me see what we can renegotiate for you, whether it's rebooking clauses, whether it's cancellation clauses, whether it's force majeure, any of that. We're here to help in any way that we can. Some other ways that we help, we actually have a daily gathering ban listed by city and state that we can provide to all of our partners. We also have, obviously, our Emergency Concierge International group that we work with, and they actually, awesome. Yeah, they're fantastic. They actually provide a coronavirus contingency plan, which is basically a fantastic booklet of what you need to do step by step in this new environment. So those are other partners of ours that are great to use in this kind of environment. And then obviously, the nice thing is there's really no service for what we do, right? We're here to help. Yep. We're not going to send you an invoice. We're not going to bill you for anything. Send your hotel contracts to me at mdahlman@hpnglobal.com. I'll take a look at them. Bill and I will review them and give you that open and honest advice that a lot of you are looking for right now. So again, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over to the main man, the man with a big plan, Bill Kilburg, CEO of HPN Global.
Are we practicing proper social distancing right now?
No, we're not. We're not. No. But we do have the our Purell and everything close by. So
yeah, again, it's it's really it's crazy out there. And I'll talk about the hotel industry, and I'll talk about meeting planner scope on that for a second. But I feel for everybody, that the hotel industry really has been functionally shut down by this thing. And I feel for all the housekeepers and the cooks and the maid, and the front desk clerks who, all of a sudden are like, my livelihood is gone because the hotel's closed, right?
Right.
So, number one, I feel for all those people. So from the meeting planner perspective, if you have, we're still executing much of what we call lift and shift. Although that was sort of March and April, it's shifted to May and some June, where, we're talking to hotels about, okay, you had this meeting in June. I just talked to a big client who's got, and the bigger ones are harder because, obviously it's space. And they're coming in June and they want to move to September.
You want to lean in towards the...
Oh, do I have to lean in
You
towards the
should
fence?
lean a little bit.
Yeah, I should
Just a
lean.
little bit. It's all
Are
right.
you getting?
It's okay. It's all right. We're all here for you. It's all good.
And there's sort of a dichotomy on force majeure or not. And I'll go through the rules again. Is the hotel open? And in June, hotels are open. They're all saying they're going to be open. Can you get there? The airlines are working. And is there a governmental travel ban in effect in that destination over those dates? And it's getting pretty, again, esoteric. And I've used the words force majeure more in the last 3 weeks than I have in my previous 20 years of life. But I used to testify in that in federal court. So, is the hotel open? Can you get there? Are the planes working? And is there a travel ban? And I have seen there are hotels who are being super cool and saying, hey, let's just like move this. Like I did a deal with, and I'm not going to name hotels or hotel companies, but with a big hotel where we just moved something for a year, and they were like, hey, no cancellation fee, don't worry about it. Let's just lift and shift, get it off the GM's plate functionally. And then there's hotels where I saw a letter from an attorney, and I'm not going to call it the hotel. And the hotel's shut down, and they're still trying to collect cancellation fees from the client when they're shut down.
They're shut down.
Yeah, they're shut down. They're closed.
But suddenly they want a lawyer to take care of cancellations.
Yes. Yeah, when I've been telling people all week, this is the Hospitality Lawyers Full Employment Act of 2020. So the lift and shift has moved into May and some June. What I'm advising the clients is that, number one, there's easy conversations and hard conversations. And the hard conversation is what I call a hard cancel, which is, hey, we're just not going to show up. But if somebody says, hey, I talked to somebody who, like, it's a July meeting, and like, we're going to cancel. I'm like, well, number one, it's not force majeure, okay? And the hotel's going to want to enforce cancellation. And we have seen that a bunch of times in the last week. The easy conversation, not always easy, but the easier conversation is we'd like to do two things functionally. If you're sitting in a situation where cancellation is going to step up in a week or 2 weeks or whatever, everybody just needs to breathe, and everybody's sharp-edged right now. So if we can give clients some breathing room, so if cancellation steps up on April 15th, and we call that hotel and get it to May 15th, really pretty easily. And then attrition is a much more easy conversation. So we're going to come have half of our meeting, but it's still in the year for the year revenue. But this is what it looks like. And we're going to move to September, but now we need a much better cancellation and attrition clause because we believe it's going to be force majeure. We don't say it's force majeure today. None of us knows if I can predict the future. I guess it just I wouldn't be sitting here.
Right.
So those are all conversations that can be had. And I really feel bad for our hotel colleagues because the people that we work with on the sales executive side of the hotel industry, they're family, right? I mean, there's people we've dealt with through years,
right.
They're friends and family, and every major hotel company has decimated. Number one, their on-site sales teams
Gone.
I told Mark this morning when we were on the phone with a client, I'm like, there are 3,000 room hotels that have 4 people staffing them right now. It's the GM, it's the director of sales, it's the director of engineering, and it's a security
at the front gate.
Right, yeah, right.
Park's closed, man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Closed. Yeah. Loose outside.
Right, exactly.
So there's so many people furloughed and so many people going through a difficult time in their lives. I talked to somebody else earlier this week, and a super good friend of mine, and she was like, I haven't been furloughed since, or unemployed functionally functionally since I was 15, right?
Yeah.
So I feel for all those people. The functional problem is, we need to get to the director of sales or the GM, get a deal done and move on. Because everybody, from a planner perspective, has, let's call it, and I'm using the word dumpster fire a lot.
Dumpster fire, yes, many times. I've heard that a couple times, yes.
Every planner has one dumpster fire in their parking lot.
Or a house on fire, like we talked about last week.
I'll talk about that too, yeah. And you need a fire lot.
Right. Yeah.
Every planner has one dumpster fire, but a GM of a 3,000 room hotel has 150 dumpster fires in the parking lot. And so we are getting deals done fast and hard, and it's not super long conversations because everybody just wants to put that fire out and move on. The other fire analogy, can I use my donut analogy too?
Sure, of course, yes, whatever you like.
The other fire analogy is, there's a house on fire today, and that's April and May. December's not on fire. And so if a planner has a meeting in September, October, November, December, their executive board is concerned, and we advise them and help them, and we'll be around. But the hotels are dealing with the issue that's in front of them today. And, the hotel companies haven't given them guidance on doing super big modifications for stuff that's showing up in the fall, right? So because they're not that's not the immediate need. So if your meeting is September, October, November, your house is 3 houses down from the house that's on fire, and the fire department, which is the general manager and the director of sales and the director of engineering, right. are not really responding like, oh yeah, let's do this on that. It's like, hey, I've got 170 other things on my to-do list today, and your December meeting is not one of them. But we're also finding successful conversations in force majeure where, and again, it's getting pretty esoteric. So if, again, 3 questions. Is the hotel open? Can you get there? And is there a governmental travel ban? So if it's yes, no, then it's not force majeure. I talked to a client last week who there are people who are coming from universities, and they're like, well, we have trouble. The universities have travel bans, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't really count if your people can't get there.
That was a conversation we had this morning with a client.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Same thing. So is the hotel open? Can you get there? And is there a governmental authority travel ban?
Over your dates.
Over your dates.
Yes, that's the important part that I think a lot of people have a problem with, is that they see the force majeure, they say, yes, is it a dumpster fire right now? Yes,
no.
I can't get there, travel bans.
Doesn't
but
count.
when you're coming in September, October, November,
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Then that does not apply currently.
Right.
And which is why we're telling a lot of planners to hold off as long as you can.
Breathe and pump.
Right.
Breathe and pump the brakes.
Exactly.
And pump the brakes.
We also see, we were talking to a client this morning that look at what's happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So if you've got cancellation dates, or if you've got some time, wait until the end of April. Let's see what it looks like in the next 3 to 4 weeks, because it's going to be a lot different than the way it looks today. And the more
Well, and we don't know, and nobody knows. So we, I don't want to get that close to you. So I talked to a client just right before I walked in here who's got a bunch of rooms in a big box in a city where there's no travel ban, and they're at 100%. We didn't do this contract; we're just helping somebody out, right? And they're at 100% cancellation. And so I was talking to the executive director, and I'm like, and she's like, well, I want to cancel today. I'm like, well, it doesn't really change the hotel's position. And if you cancel today, then they're going to say it's not force majeure. But if you just breathe for 3 weeks or a month, we can do a lift and shift. We can get you better attrition, better cancellation, and then maybe in a month it's force majeure, and then we all have a different set of problems, right?
But if you can wait, you should wait.
Yeah. I understand that.
Like that.
yeah, I understand that everybody's, they've got to produce the meeting, they've got to, people have to book air, a lot of people have constituents that are maybe members of the association or whatever. The other functional issue right now, which, I'm taking a look at how people need to grapple with this, is if you have a meeting in June, guess what? Your conference service manager is laid off.
Until probably
Until May 30th, right? So how do you even plan the meeting? Like it's, a big
the hotel's
hotel.
probably closed until then also.
Yeah, so that's big hotels are aircraft carriers. Like how do you have to restart them, right? Okay, so even if it's May 31st and your meeting's June 11th, we can help advise on that kind of thing. And but I can tell you that the CCS manager most likely isn't there. So then how do you plan your meeting? It's a whole new set of issues, right?
And I think also, kind of going back to, I think the things that have changed over the last week or so, you want to talk a little bit more about the national sales forces for hotel companies and how that has just been decimated.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, along with the hotel salespeople and things like that, but a lot of planners in our world have a national rep that they deal with.
Well, they don't know. Yeah, they don't know who to call right now, right? Yeah. So functionally, every major hotel company, and I'm apologizing to any hotel people that are on this call right now in advance, has completely shut down their national sales force. They're keeping a very small skeleton crew here and there, but functionally, every major hotel company has completely shut down their national sales force. So, if you're a planner who's trying to deal with a meeting coming up in June, you're calling your national rep. I'm going to say a company, but and guess what? They're gone. They're out there running 10 miles today to get in their cardio, right? So, but again, that's stuff where we can navigate the waters. We've got people to call. We know we can get to the GM or the director of sales of that hotel and get stuff done on behalf of clients.
Right. And
which is what we've been doing for a week, right?
And I think that's the important part to tell planners out there is that even if we didn't do the deal, we weren't involved in it, we didn't work on it.
Yeah, we don't care. We're just here to help.
We don't care.
Yeah.
Send the contract to us, let us take a look at it, let us give you some options, give you our honest advice on it, and then we can go from there. Because we know there's a lot of salespeople gone, national salespeople are gone.
And I feel for all those people.
It's horrible. So that's another reason why we're here to help. So, but yeah, so thank you. That's it's a great update on where we are currently for this week. One other thing I did want to mention on the call today is we've had some great successes. Even since our last call last week, we had a bunch of people that sent in their contracts to us. People that we had never dealt with before,
and we helped them, and we
worked with before,
and we helped them out.
I want to go through a couple examples because I think a lot of people want to know what the landscape is, what are the hotels truly saying when we address this kind of situation.
They're being flexible, obviously, right?
I think we had, for example, we had a call with a client this morning. They've got a program this fall and September, and management was worried about what they want to do with this program, and a lot of their attendees are losing their jobs, their businesses are going under, so they wanted to know, hey, is this force majeure? Can we get out of this? Obviously, we reviewed the contract for them. We talked to the director of sales on property. We were able to work out a rebook clause for 50%. So if they cancel this year, 50% of that revenue, that cancellation payment, would go towards rebooking them for 2021. And this was in a property in the Napa area. So we've done deals like that. We also, like Bill was talking about before,
you did in the space of a day.
Yeah.
You added like 10 modifications to that contract to help the client.
Right.
It was better cancellation, better attrition, rebook, all that kind of stuff.
Right, and that's the thing I think that we're seeing is that we're able to not only extend the cancellation date so you can, again, breathe a little bit more in a situation like this,
Yeah.
but if you are going to host your program, we're able to work out a better attrition rate for you, if not no attrition. We're able to work out a better cancellation, a better rebook, and in this case, there wasn't a rebook at all. So we were able to put that into the deal for this client. So that was one case. We had another case that came in for a program that was in June. And obviously the hotel that they were working with in the Miami area was shut down already. The director of sales and marketing is on property. This is a client that loves the hotel. The hotel has been working with them, trying to get something done, but they didn't have the dates for an upcoming program in August to make it work out. So we looked at the contract, we talked to the hotel, we're negotiating with the hotel currently, but we also went out and got some backup options for them. So we got some backup options. I got 2 separate backup options in the Florida area. No rooms attrition, no F&B minimum for this August for a program. So again, even reaching out to other hotels, checking availability. Now again, hey, it would be great if they could get the hotel rebooked and everything, could just shift and lift and shift like we were talking about into new dates. But in this case, it's also nice to have backup options when you're renegotiating those new dates, right? If you're moving into a little bit farther down the road, lifting and shifting,
yeah, for sure,
we're able to have a backup.
And that's the corollary issue is the space in the fall, because all the hotels want to keep the revenue in the year for the year, right? I don't want to get this close. So all the hotels want to keep the space in the year for the year, and so space for the fall is filling up rapidly. So the client I talked to 30 minutes ago now wants to move to September-ish. So I called the associate. I'm like, yeah, you better go check the space, like not later this afternoon, like now, right? Because it's all moving. So it's the kind of the Wild West out there.
It is.
But again,
and availability is hard to find.
And availability is hard to find in the year, for the year, in the second half of the year.
And even in 2021, if you've got a program in 2020 and you're considering canceling or moving into new dates even in 2021, making sure that you have somebody like us checking those dates for you immediately is vital, because availability is very hard to find right now within the next 12 to 18 months, basically. So,
yeah, but again, hotels are getting way more flexible than they were a week ago.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you've got something coming up over the summer, and you're already at a certain level of cancellation and attrition, just I'm telling everybody, breathe and pump the brakes, right? And who knows what the world looks like in a month. I didn't think the world would look like this a month ago.
Yeah.
So and the other thing I've been saying to everybody is because everybody's sharp edged right now. I got to get closer to you. Yeah. And I've seen people go both directions. And my advice to everybody in the industry today, because everybody's going through a crazy time, is be kind, compassionate, and caring. And it's my mother had a favorite saying that was, "You catch way more flies with honey than you do vinegar." So that's how we structured the company, and that's how we act, and that's how we comport ourselves, and that's how we're comporting ourselves through this.
Right. Well, I think it's important too is that we're here not only for the planners but also for the hoteliers, and we have to realize we have to be nice to each other, because all of us are going through the exact same absolute dumpster fire together. So the more we can take care of each other in times like these, the better we'll be able to work together in the future. So
and that's what Harold's probably on the call somewhere. He said something to me the other day which really resonated with me, which probably is going to be in my email this weekend. Reach out to somebody who is a friend or colleague who's going through something else difficult, and just make an emotional deposit. Like, call them and ask them how they're doing, right? And make an emotional deposit with your friends and colleagues. And, together we're all going to get through this.
Yeah, absolutely. we had another situation that came up even for a large citywide program that was for this June. Planning called me up, said we're going to need to relocate about 1,000 rooms for a couple nights for this June. I need you to find any space available, 250 10 by 10s, Saturday through Tuesday peak. Let me know what you can find for me. And I said, okay. So we got on the phone. I talked to a bunch of properties immediately. We probably had 3 or 4 options for them around the country in different properties. And that was something that we were able to provide immediately. So we're actually having a conference call on Monday to review those options. So we were able to do that in about 48 hours. So, and
Right.
even a program of that size. So just, whether it's a small program or a big program, we're really here to help all of you in any way that we can. So please, like I said, reach out, let us know what we can do, send the contract over to us, let us take a look at it, and then we can go from there. So,
Want to do some questions?
yeah, let's do some questions.
Well, here, start with the one
Yes.
you got on there.
Yeah.
If anybody has a question,
Yeah.
I've got Facebook up over here, so just put it up on that Facebook post.
Mm-hmm.
Mark has some.
Yeah, we've got some set up ahead of time, but if you have questions you want to throw our direction, that's obviously the reason we're doing this live, so we can answer questions immediately for you. You can just type your question into the comment section on the live post, and we'll go from there. But we've got a couple that were sent in ahead of time. So,
So what do you got?
so Holly from Virginia, what type of additional concessions should we be asking for right now for future events?
Are we talking about rebooks, or are we talking about just a future event?
Future events.
Oh, so that's the other thing I'm seeing is the I mean the lowest rate clause, obviously.
Right, yes.
Right, number one.
Yeah, lowest rate clause.
Our new force majeure clause that includes pandemic.
Right, exactly. And adjusted force majeure.
And what I've seen is there are hotels who the revenue manager really hasn't readjusted their 2021
No. But they will.
rate structure, but they will, right?
They will.
But they will. So I think that banana's not completely green yet, but I would, I think if you have a future meeting, let's get the RFP out and then let it kind of percolate for a little bit, if you will.
Okay.
And I think structures for 21 and 22 will be fundamentally different in 30 to 60 days.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're seeing, and we've talked to a bunch of planners that, we have to realize that for a lot of these hotels, when they do reopen, or if they're currently open now with a skeleton crew, they're going to be readjusting their group ceilings as far as how many group rooms they can accept in the future, because once they reopen, or if they're open now, the business travelers aren't coming back anytime soon, the leisure travelers aren't coming back anytime soon, so when these hotels are reopening, they're going to be pushing group business as hard as possible
Right.
to try and get in the door. So
Right.
I think the other thing, to answer your question, Holly, is to really take a look, get your wish list ready. Those things that were always turned down in the past, I think you have a pretty good...
That's all going to be different.
Yeah, that's all going to be different.
Right.
Maybe it's a comp reception, maybe it's some type of hosted event by the hotel itself. Obviously, the force majeure and the lowest rate clause are going to be vitally important over the next 12 to 18 months. But I would say get your wish list ready, because it's going to be a buyer's market, which is something we haven't had in over a decade in our industry. So.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I feel for the hotels. I mean, it's not been pretty for them at all. And it's for the line level employees all the way up to the GM of the hotel. I mean, last month has been a tough time. So I feel for everybody in the industry. And so, we're here to represent our clients and to help. And, frankly, we had a pretty good week last week booking business, right?
No, and I think that's why I wanted to, on this second call here, is to really tell you that we had some great successes last week, just from people that were on our first Facebook Live last week that said, hey, what's your email address? Let me send my contract over to you. I don't know what to do. My management is asking for direction. My CEO, my executive director, whoever it may be. I don't know where to start, I don't know what I should be asking for, and I don't know what I can get. And that's where our expertise in hotel consultation, I mean, I worked on the hotel side for 20 years myself, so I was a director of sales of 3 different properties, and I've either been working in hotels or selling hotels my whole life. So, you know, the nicest thing that I can tell you is that there's a huge advantage out there right now for planners. And for those of you who don't know where to turn, reach out to us. Again, all of our services are free for you. We're going to be honest with you on what you can do and what you should be doing. And it's something where we're always here for you. So,
Yeah.
one other question kind of rolls into this. Jeff from Chicago says, how do you think this is going
Jeff
to
from
change our business moving forward?
Is our business
No,
his
how is
business
it changing?
Yeah, yeah. Well, no. I
Everything,
think I think it's a fundamental shift. You know, in how hotels are going to approach group business for the next few years, and I think you know, again, we get back to the lowest rate clause, right? So if we do a deal in the next month, or if a client, you know, signs a contract, we've got the lowest rate clause, so that covers them. We've got good, you know, pandemic force majeure language in there, and I think I think rates will be substantially more flexible over the next 2 to 3 months. And again, I feel bad for the hotels and the, you know, everybody who works there. But I think rates will be substantially more flexible over the next couple of years.
Absolutely. And I think, like we talked about earlier, with a lot of the national sales forces that are being
They're gone.
let go,
They're gone.
it's- it's-
And
it's
I
tough
feel-
for-
and I-
so a lot of those people who have maybe relied on bureau contacts, national sales contacts, a lot of that side of the business is going to change a lot. So the nice thing with us and what we do is that we can reach out to anybody, any hotel, any city, any country for you, and really help out any type of program, 10 rooms or more. That's what we're here to do. So glad to help. But thanks for your question there, Jeff. One more that was sent in ahead of time. How many hotels do you think will close indefinitely due to coronavirus? What percentage do you think would you put on that? That just will not open again.
I don't think that's going to happen at all.
No? Okay.
No. I mean, I think it's going to. Well, again, if I could predict the future, I wouldn't. I'd be working the stock market. I wouldn't be doing this, right? You know, again, who knows? I mean, who knew a month ago we would be sitting here talking about major hotels just shut down?
Right.
Right.
Like shut down.
Yeah, closed. Yeah, closed. Yeah, I talked to a GM of a huge hotel 2 days ago. It was a good friend of mine, and you know, again, that's where I got the 4 people thing. He's like, it's a 3,000 room hotel, and I've got 4 people. I got me, the director of sales, the director of engineering, and the security guard. You know, it's all a question of. I think the good advice to everybody, and Mark and I are not practicing, you know, doing that right now. Is stay
we're way too close.
Yeah, we're way too
really
close.
Apologize, but
Is stay home, let this thing burn itself out. Hotels will open. You know, people will get back to work. So I don't think there's going to be hotels that close forever, right? I think it's going to be, you know, a couple of months of rough sledding for hotels. And again, I'll say it one more time. I feel for everybody in the industry who's going through this. But I don't think there's going to be, oh, hey, we're just not going to reopen this hotel, right? Because there's an owner and they've got to deal with things, right? You know, and so no, I don't think that's going to happen.
I guess one more question for me, because again, everything changes weekly. So as far as, you know, I think the biggest question that planners have right now out there is, how far out do I need to truly cancel or lift and shift my groups? Is it June? Is it July? And again, changes daily, it changes weekly, but as of today, if you were a planner running a meeting, how far out would you look at a lift and shift or a cancel?
I'd be looking at June, July, for sure. And again, there's 2 kinds of conversations. Like one is, hey, I'm just going to cancel. And then that's a whole different conversation. And and I've seen hotels in the last week just lawyer up like that. Bang. Right. But then there's also, hey, we still want to come have the meeting. And did I use my donut analogy yet? No.
No, you didn't.
I haven't.
No.
Okay, I'll use that in a second.
Okay.
We still want to come have the meeting, but we need 50% attrition, and we need, to extend the increase in cancellation date, and we need our F&B reduced. So what I said to a director of sales, who's a friend of mine, earlier this week is like, okay, this thing's in June, and they're planning on canceling. We could move it, and it'll be 2/3 the size, but it's in the year for the year, but we need this, this, and this in the contract. Bang, bang, bang. Right. And he goes, I got to go to my general manager, and I'm like, okay, look, dude, go to the general manager and say there's 2 plates in front of me. Okay, one plate is empty, and one plate has a donut, but it's a smaller donut than I thought I was getting.
Like half a donut.
Like half, well, it's small, just smaller.
It's a smaller donut.
It's a smaller donut.
Like a little mini donut.
Yeah, well, not quite a mini. But if I was you, I'd take the donut, right?
Can have something.
Yeah.
Sounds better than nothing.
And that got done again in 20 minutes.
Right.
So.
And I think that's something that you'll find from a lot of hotels too. For those of you who are having programs third and fourth quarter, the hotels obviously still want you to be there.
Right.
They
want the revenue in the year for you. Want the revenue in the year for you.
So if you need to renegotiate attrition, the force majeure clause, cancellation dollars, maybe amenities or concessions, whatever it may be, now is the time to do that. And you obviously have the power to do that, and we can do that on your behalf also. So that's something we're doing all the time to say, hey, you know what? We're still going to have our meeting. It may be 50% of where we thought it was going to be, but if you still allow us to come and won't charge us attrition or cancellation, so we don't have any financial liability, this will still work out and we can still come to the property. And those are deals that, again, we're doing all the time. We did them for one of our clients that was on a Facebook Live call last week. So had the same type of conversations. So, but yes, if you have other questions, please put them into the comments section there on our Facebook Live. You got
that's what I was looking at.
One or two here.
I had a person just ask, do you think this will change meeting space capacities?
That's a great question.
This is actually from one of our people, Casey. Again, who knows in the short run, right? Number one. Number two, if this thing burns itself out, then I don't think so. Like you got to function, and meetings are going to happen. People want connectivity with each other,
right?
And nobody's got that right now,
right?
That's why I'm telling people to make emotional deposits with your friends and colleagues, right? Because everybody wants connectivity, and
I think the question will come up though. I think when you start talking about if people are setting up classrooms at 2 per 6.
Yeah, right. Might be a little bit different. Might be a little bit different. Might be a little bit different over the summer.
No, I think that's a great question, Casey. I think it will short term, but long term, I think, yeah, it's definitely something to consider because again, you have to realize you have to work towards your attendees and what's important to them, and obviously what we have basically drilled into people's brains over the last couple of weeks is social distancing, these city shutdowns, basically staying at home orders, all these different things. So when people finally get to go out, I think they will still have that in their brain as far as the 6 feet, 10 feet, whatever you want to call it. So if I'm sitting classroom style with 100 other people, yeah, I'm going to probably sit as far away from everybody else as possible. So I think that will come up, but that's definitely a great question. So, any other
that's what
questions at all?
It wasn't.
You wouldn't think of?
Wasn't giving me the.
Okay.
Come on, why is that too? I type like a monkey.
Yeah, if you have any other questions, go ahead and throw it in the comment section. I'd be more than happy to answer them for everybody. So. See if anybody else comes up here. And I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
Wait, we got one more here.
One more? All right.
No, that was Casey's.
Okay.
Are we done?
I think so. Thank you again to everybody for being on our second Facebook Live call. We're going to plan on doing these on a weekly basis. We know the world is changing on a weekly basis. Hotels are changing. Planners, meetings, different situations. Like I said, we're here to help in any way that we can. So, like I said, if you don't have any support, you don't know who to turn to, go ahead and email your contract over to me, mdallman@hpnglobal.com. We'll take a look at it. We'll make sure that we give you some honest advice on what options you have. And then, obviously, you know, we have to empathize with everybody. Like Bill said,
Yeah,
we have so
it's
many
tough
hotel
out there.
partners. I mean,
Yeah. It's
we've
rough
been in the
out
industry our whole lives. So to see our hotel sales partners and hotels closing and everything, it's just, it's heart-wrenching.
It's
for us.
heart-wrenching.
So we're here for everybody, and we want to make sure that we're good partners on both sides. But if you need some help, you need somebody to talk to, you just need some honest advice, please reach out to us. Again, like I said, we also work with the Emergency Concierge International to put together a coronavirus preparation plan. If you are having a meeting within the next 6 months, I think it'd be great to take a look at it. Let me know. I'd be more than happy to shoot that over to you. And just stay safe and take care of each other, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And
for
stay
sure.
farther apart than Bill and I, right?
Yeah, right,
So
yeah,
I'm
right.
gonna have to go into full sanitation. I have to quarantine
He
myself.
does. He doused me in Purell before we did this. And the best advice I give every client when I get on the phone with them, you know, the first two things I say are breathe and pump the brakes. Okay, let's analyze the situation. We can help you. We'll figure out a solution. If it's a lift and shift, if it's more breathing time on a cancellation increase, if it's better attrition, just breathe. Just breathe. And the other advice I'm giving everybody is be kind, compassionate, and caring.
Right.
Right.
Just take care of each other.
And
We're all in this together.
because everybody's sharp edged right now, and you know we get a lot more done when everybody's doing their best to be kind, compassionate, and caring.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
cool.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Thank you to everybody who joined us today. We'll be sending out another message for people that want to join us next week. And like I said, if you have any future questions that you weren't able to get in today, please feel free to send them in. We'll be more than happy to address them for you one by one. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Take care of each other.
Thanks.